One of the most favored networks of organizations receiving funds from the Catholic Campaign for Human Development has slammed the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade and vowed to fight for so-called reproductive rights. Coming up in this special report of the Lepanto Institute. Faith in Action is no doubt one of the Catholic Campaign for Human Development's favorite organizations. In 2016, when it was still called the PICO Network, the CCHD gave a $500,000 strategic grant to the national network. And every year, the CCHD provides a national grant to around 15 or 20 members of Faith in Action. In fact, since 2016, including the $500,000 strategic national grant, the CCHD has provided $4.8 million to Faith in Action and its affiliates. But Faith in Action is an organization that shouldn't be receiving a single dime from Catholic funds. In the fall of 2020, we produced a series of reports showing that Faith in Action was actively electioneering on behalf of Joe Biden and other Democrat candidates. We also showed that Faith in Action was advocating so-called reproductive rights, transgenderism, and violent revolution. We showed Faith in Action's project called Live Free posting things like this fundraiser for Democrat candidate Gary Peters, and this tweet from Live Free calling for support for Democrat candidates Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, and this tweet saying, quote, Trump must be removed from power. We showed Faith in Action's Live Free project promoting Planned Parenthood and reproductive rights, and social media posts promoting violence, rebellion, and LGBTQ activism. And despite all of this, the CCHD produced an internal memo stridently dismissing the concerns produced in our reports and vigorously defending Faith in Action. In the memo, the CCHD mentions its long-standing relationship with Faith in Action, claiming that the relationship is rooted in a shared mission. The CCHD also asserts that Faith in Action, quote, has a proven track record of working with Catholic parishes, dioceses, the USCCB, and even the Vatican. The memo continues by pointing out how Faith in Action and its local affiliates are working to build bridges, and that CCHD has been involved in this important work. And then the CCHD memo says, quote, the suggestion that Faith in Action and its local affiliates are using CCHD funding to engage in partisan activities is false and rooted in a hostile reaction to the call for transformative justice at work in our communities. After accusing the Lepanto Institute of using, quote, incendiary rhetoric to attack CCHD and Faith in Action, and then subtly admitting that our report was actually accurate, the memo concludes that CCHD has long supported and will continue to support this important work of Faith in Action and its local affiliates to change the systems and structures that have perpetuated poverty and racism for decades. Catholics can be confident that the Catholic Campaign for Human Development does not fund organizations that violate the moral and social teaching of the Church. The very next year, the CCHD twice publicly applauded Faith in Action. On May 14th, the CCHD praised Faith in Action, saying, quote, Faith in Action believes in a society in which every person lives in a safe and healthy environment, before thanking Faith in Action for, quote, helping make the CCHD's 50th anniversary possible. On May 17th, CCHD issued yet another tweet singing Faith in Action's praises, saying things like, with the power of CCHD, Faith in Action National helps Catholic parishes and congregations from other faith traditions put feet to their faith, and Faith in Action promotes solidarity and transforms systems through organizing. Well, now with the power of CCHD, Faith in Action is promoting abortion and fighting against the culture of life. In an official press release published on Faith in Action's website on the very day the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, Faith in Action said, "Clergy and organizers with Faith in Action, the largest grassroots faith-based organizing network in the United States, are speaking out against today's Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade." Faith in Action's executive director, Reverend Alvin Herring, called the decision, quote, "a huge blow to women in this season of despair," and declared that, quote, "we must speak out against dangerous policies that chip away at having agency over their own bodies." Reverend Dr. Cassandra Gould, Faith in Action's senior strategist in Faith in Action's D.C. office, claimed that the SCOTUS decision to overturn Roe was legalized, judicially enforced oppression that shows contempt for the Creator. Reverend Kamala Hall Sharp, who is a member of Faith in Action's organizing clergy board, said that the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade was deadly and that she was enraged at the injustice, the lack of care for women, and that most people who voted to take this right away will never have to carry an unwanted pregnancy to term in their bodies. She then had the audacity to claim that as a follower of Jesus, her rage about the overturning of Roe aligns with his. In addition to that, Faith in Action's National Deputy Director of Organizing, Cassandra Jones, tweeted an alert message promoting a meeting to protect reproductive rights. And while that was happening, Faith in Action's state affiliate, Faith in Florida, issued its own statement on the overturning of Roe, declaring that, quote, "Faith in Florida leaders stand with women after SCOTUS ruling." The statement declares that Faith in Florida stands in solidarity with women making the best decisions for their reproductive and maternal health, while Faith in Florida's executive director, Rhonda Thomas, said that overturning Roe v. Wade is unacceptable. Nancy Palacios, Faith in Florida's deputy director, cried that this is the beginning of taking away people's freedoms. And Dr. LaVon Bracey, Faith in Florida's director of democracy, said that the overturning of Roe has set women's rights back for generations. It really doesn't get any clearer than this. Faith in Action is pro-abortion, and it's committed to fighting in favor of abortion as a right. And the CCHD is unapologetically promoting and supporting Faith in Action. This is inexcusable. Anyone with two brain cells to rub together could see this coming, but CCHD, ever full of excuses, is now in the awkward position of either publicly denouncing its friend and cutting off Faith in Action completely, or defending the indefensible. In our full report, we provide a lot more detail about how far down the pro-abortion path Faith in Action has gone, and you can see that by going to lepantoin.org/FIA. At the end of that report, we provide the contact information for your bishops and CCHD directors. Please write to them, call them, ask them to explain why CCHD is giving oodles of cash to Faith in Action, which is clearly demonstrated its commitment to the industrial murder of babies.